Good afternoon, parents, and welcome to our data talk about your students' data and where they are currently and where are they projected to go in the future. We want to talk about our two assessments that we've taken for this winter session, the NWEA MAP assessment and our iReady winter assessment. Before we get into the data, I want to give you a brief overview for those of you who may not know what NWEA MAP and iReady is all about. So please view this quick video and then we'll take any questions that you may have.
MAP growth measures what your child knows and is ready to learn. This assessment was created by NWEA, a not-for-profit organization. NWEA was founded in 1977 by educators and researchers with a mission of partnering to help all kids learn. More than 9 million students in the US and in 140 countries worldwide use MAP growth. Most schools give MAP growth tests in the fall, winter, and spring. The test is adaptive, which means that it adjusts to each student's responses. If a student gets a question right, it gets harder. If a student gets a question wrong, it gets easier. The test is not concerned with which grade a student is in. It will go as high or low as it needs to. This helps you see if your child is testing above, below, or right at their grade level in all types of subjects, including math, reading, language usage, and science. Students receive an individual RIT score at the end of the test. MAP growth measures student performance with our RIT scale, the most stable and mature scale in the industry. This scale measures and tracks performance across grade levels, so you will be able to see your child's growth from year to year and over multiple years. Another great thing about the RIT score is that you can connect it to online resources. For example, you can get book suggestions based on a student's reading level and use free sites like Khan Academy, which provide practice exercises based on your child's learning needs. NWEA also has a College Explorer tool that lets you enter your child's RIT score to see which colleges they can likely get into. Teachers also get a student report after the test. This report explains what the student knows and helps the teacher and the student set goals for learning. Every 3 years, NWEA provides schools with norms. This is anonymous data for more than 10 million students around the country. It tells teachers and students the top, middle, and bottom scores of all these students combined, so they can compare where a student is to other students and help them grow. A teacher can then say to a student, "Wow, you're in the 98th percentile. What kind of work will keep you challenged?" Or, "You're in the 58th percentile for math. Let's look at where you need help." MAP growth improves both teaching and learning by giving teachers accurate information about your child. For more information about MAP growth, visit nwea.org/parent-toolkit.
At this time, parents, if you have any questions regarding MAP, please ask those questions at this time. Thank you again, parents. I hope we were able to answer any questions that you may have had. Now we want to talk about your child's individual data. In your folder, you have a family report from NWEA. Here's a sample report here on the screen. We're going to talk about what this report entails and what information you can gather from it.
Family Report gives you an opportunity to share MAP growth results with your students and their families. This report makes it easy to see not only how students are achieving, but also how they're growing. Let's take a closer look. For each subject, your student will receive a score on something called the RIT scale. The RIT scale is unique to NWEA and is used to assess students from kindergarten through high school. It's especially designed to measure growth over time. The solid line on the graph represents the student scores. The dotted line represents the NWEA norms. These are the typical scores for each grade level, subject, and season for students across the country. In this example, Christopher is a 4th grade student who took the MAP growth reading assessment this fall. Christopher's score last fall was just below the dotted line. His score went down 1 point between fall and winter, but then he showed fantastic growth between winter and spring, 17 points. He dropped a couple of points over the summer, which isn't unusual. Christopher's current score puts him at the 50th percentile, which means that his score was at or above the level of 50% of other fourth graders in reading. The achievement data tells us how Christopher is doing each season. To get a more complete picture of Christopher's progress, we can also look at his growth over time. The growth section shows Christopher's family that he's at the 65th percentile for growth in reading, which means that he grew as much or more than 65% of similar students across the country. This is something to get excited about. The report also includes projections, which tell us how Christopher is likely to perform on future assessments, like the state test. Older students will also have projections for the ACT and the SAT exams. Although Christopher's score reflects his above average growth, he is not on track to be proficient on the state test.
Parents, please at this moment take a look at your child's data at this particular report. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and someone will come by to guide you through the process. Parents, I hope you found that information helpful. I hope you have a clear understanding where your child is and where your child is expected to go in the near future. At this time, we want to talk about our other assessment, our in-house assessment, iReady. Before we get into the data, let's have a brief overview.
Hi, my name is Mark Bernstein. I'm a National Director at Curriculum Associates, and we are the iReady people. For the student, iReady serves two functions. Number one, it's an online diagnostic assessment that pinpoints math and reading skills down to the sub-skill level. And number two, it's online learning that caters to a student's specific needs, whether those needs are on, above, or below level. I'd like to share 4 things you need to know about iReady. Number one, the iReady online assessment is adaptive in nature. This means that students see questions based on how they're performing. If a student struggles, the questions get easier. If a student is breezing through, the questions become more challenging. Once a student completes the diagnostic, the teacher will know exactly what this student needs, so it eliminates the necessity to overtest our children, thus allowing more time for teaching. Number two, the iReady online instruction is personalized to the individual. Once a student completes the diagnostic, his or her results will differ from classmates, so we give each student their own pathway based on diagnostic results. If a student needs help with reading comprehension, that student will get lessons to help. If a student has geometry skills above grade level, that student will receive geometry content that's above grade level. Support for those who have gaps to fill, enrichment for those who are exceeding grade level expectations. Number 3, iReady is not a grading tool. Your child won't get an A or C- based on how they perform in iReady. iReady supports students, challenges students, gives students math and reading content that is right at their level. iReady helps children to grow, but it is not used to assign grades. And number 4, iReady is not designed to replace the teacher. In every school district, teachers are an irreplaceable asset. iReady supports teachers by helping group students with similar needs for targeted instruction, what we call differentiation. Once small groups are established, iReady's teacher toolbox is just one of the many resources that teachers may use to provide targeted instruction. But replace the teacher? Never. Thank you very much for watching this video. We look forward to seeing your students succeed with iReady.
Now, this time, parents, we will begin to look at your child's data. Hello again, parents. Now that we have an idea what iReady is all about, let's get into why we're here to talk about the data. Now, in your folder, you have a family report. This is an example of what you should have. So let's talk about this report that I have. Looking here at the scale score. The scale scores provide a single, consistent way to measure growth across grade levels and domains. You can use a scale score to compare a student's growth on a different administration of the iReady diagnostic and instruction. So for this particular report, the first time this student took this assessment They scored 398. The placement is it needs improvement. The second time this student took this assessment, the scale score was 342, which still falls in the need improvement category. Looking at all the different placement levels are used to guide instruction in the classroom. Placement levels are based on the student's level of performance overall and on each subtest, and they describe the optimum instructional level. There are 4 possible placement levels. First is above grade level, at grade level, approaching grade level, and needs improvement. So looking at this particular report, the student tested out of phonological awareness. All other domains, the student tested at needs improvement. As you see, the asterisk by these 3 domains are foundational domains. Foundational domains are not assessed for all grade levels. These subtests are given depending on your child's scores in other domains. Tested out means your child did not need to take a particular subtest. Max score means that your child took the subtest and achieved a high score. If you have any other questions regarding this report, please raise your hand now and we'll try to answer any questions you may have.